Hello! Today we are going to do a bit of motivic development together. Motivic development is a brilliant way to create variation and interest in your melodies, in your songs, and really levels up your melodic game as a composer. So I highly recommend using it. If you're not already, you're probably doing it in some sort of way, even if you don't realize. I'm going to take you through 10 different ways to vary your melody with practical examples of me winging it on those techniques as we go. Let's look into it. I came prepared today. I put together just a couple of chords and a simple melody for us to develop as we go. So we are looking at this melody here as our bass line. Pretty straightforward. Yeah. That's it. That's what we're working with. So perhaps one of the most obvious places to start is adding notes. We're just going to add some extra notes into our melody. So I'm going to copy this guy over here. Let's put it in there. And let's add some extra notes. When you're writing your own melodies, I'd recommend playing them all in. I'm going to do a little bit of fudging it and a bit of manual editing on Logic here. But if I was doing this for one of my own songs, I would play them in so that you get the expressive techniques in the performance of the melody as well. But right now, we're just going through what you can do to vary it. So, adding notes. Let's add some notes. So here we go. That's what we've got so far as our standard. So straight away, the place I can see where there are gaps is probably, somewhere in here and over here. So I'm going to start by, let's add in, I think I might add an ascending part in here to bridge the gap between this A and this F. But I think I might go down first. So let's go down, maybe to an E. Yeah. Or a D, maybe a D. Maybe that. Yeah. The way I put that in at the moment, it's stacked fourths. I don't love that, so I'm going to change that to a D again. No, I don't like that either. This is the joy of composing music on the fly in a video. Sometimes it doesn't work out the way you want it to straight up. Let's change that to an F. Let's go a G. Let's go. Maybe that's better as F A. And then we're gonna pop some extra notes in here as well, just to go wild, just to go totally wild. So let's chuck a couple of extras in here too and see what we like. Actually, we're going to steal that one. Maybe that. Try putting that there as well. So let's have a quick listen. We're going to go, let's have a quick listen to how that developed melody is sounding. So we've got... I think that's probably better as quavers in there, like that. Let's just check that again. Yeah, it's probably better. that feels more like the sort of melody that we're going for. The other way you can go with changing how many notes you have is subtracting notes. So we've added a bunch, now let's take some away. So I've just copied over our original melody again there. Let's scrap those. Let's make that longer. I'm gonna get rid of this one too. Let's see what that sounds like. It's pretty bare bones, like you probably don't have to cut that many, but I'm gonna do it anyway for the sake of variation. We have 3 different versions of the same melody there. Let's make a 4th. So we're going to shorten the notes, and literally it's like just dividing every single note by 2. We're just gonna make it shorter. So ooh, that one's quite interesting. Hold on, let's listen to that again. I mean, that's it. It's double time. Quite like it. It's interesting. So obviously in that 4-bar pattern that we've been using, we can fit 2 in there. So I've just looped that over. So that we've got 2 there. Basically in the same way to what we just did. If we expand our melody, so it takes twice as long, with the same chord progression, we get this. So now it's taking an 8-bar cycle rather than 4-bar. Okie doke, so for the next one, we are going to just basically reverse the melody. So we're going to start with the end and end with the start. So we're going to take this. I'm just going to move it over here for right now. Our melody started there. I'll take the last note, put it first. Second last note, third last note, 4th last note, and then we're going to grab this, alright, now this is going to be a completely different melody at this point, but I hope you can see through that process that it's a new melody derived from the original melody. So we've taken the same notes, the same duration, we've just changed the order. And we've done it in a very deliberate way. We've reversed it. It's, you know, not a complex idea, but not one that you particularly think of in your everyday songwriting practice. So it can be a really interesting technique for melodic variation. And it's going to sound like this. Nice. So we've got a bundle of different versions. The next one, similar to the reversing that we've just done, we're going to invert it. So basically, like if this is our melody, we're going to flip it upside down so that the movement of the melody is a mirror image of what we've had previously. So if that doesn't make sense, it's going to make sense in just a moment. I'm going to keep the notes consistent. So what we're going to do is this one is going to come down here, here, there, here, here, and then I think I've done that right. Let's see. Except, you know, I've shuffled them around a bit. Hold on. Have I done that right? Gosh. Ah, that's what I've done wrong. That should be a G. There we go. So, let's go. So basically what we've done is instead of having our melody descending, leaping up, and then having this little movement around E, we are now moving up, and then that movement is still hitting E on those ones, but we've changed the order. Next up, we are going to change the register that the melody is in. This one might seem quite straightforward, but it's not one that you necessarily think of straight off the bat. So what I'm going to do is grab this, I'm going to move it up an octave, and then I'm also going to add a couple of notes. Actually, maybe let's copy. What do I want to do? Copy it, move it up an octave, then paste it. And then what we're going to do is we're going to choose a couple of spots to have 2 octaves playing together. So basically just shifting where our melody is being played in the register of the instrument. So let's actually just have it on the second half. Oops. Let's just have it on the second half and see what that sounds like. Okay, here we go. Nice, classic. Next up, we have rhythmic displacement. This is one of my favorite ways to change a melody, which is basically we are going to start it on a different beat in the bar. We're just going to start it from a different place. We're going to keep everything in the melody the same, but we're going to shift it over, either forwards, backwards, whatever we want. So let's see what works. Let's move it forwards. Let's just do that and see what it sounds like. Here we go. Not super sold on that. Let's see what happens if we move it back. I like that a bit more. Hold on, I want to hear that again. It's not the best, it's not the most effective version of that, but you get the idea. So we've got 2 more to go. Our second last one is modulating. So we are going to change the key that we are sitting in, which means depending on where you modulate to, you may need to change the chords as well. But maybe not. Maybe you don't have to. Let's see what happens if we, what are we in? We're in C. I'm just thinking, I'm just gonna try something. We're gonna try shifting this to the melody, to G, because it doesn't have any notes that should sound hairy. There are gonna be some different non-chord tones in the melody, in combination with the accompaniment, but it may sound okay. Let's see. It's so bizarre when you've been listening to something in a certain way for a while and you suddenly hear it differently. It's quite like a brain bend. I don't know if any of you guys just had your minds blown by listening to that in G instead of C, but it was kind of like, whoa, doing my head in a little bit. But I just want to hear that again. I'm not sure if I think that's okay or not. I think it is okay. I think the only reason that makes it kind of hairy is having this settle on the B when we're playing a C and 9 chord in the accompaniment, because that's what it makes the melody sort of like, which is kind of I don't know, like that's the melody note clashing. It's just it's just adding the major 7th in there, but it is a bold choice, especially when previously it's been very diatonic. If you wanted to change the whole thing, you know, oh gosh darn it, let's just do it as an example. We'll go back to our original melody. There it is. So if this is our original melody, let me just show you what it would be like if we modulated with both the melody and harmony together. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to move it up a tone. So I'm just going to grab all of this stuff and we're just going to move it up a tone to D instead of C. You kind of need to hear it in context to really understand the impact that has. So I'll just go from the variation before so that you can hear that. That sort of you know, modulation upper tone is very uplifting. It's a very like a superhero power move, doing that sort of, let's just modulate upper tone. It can be really cool. It's a good one. Okay, last one is change the quality of the scale. So we've been playing in C major. If we change that to a minor key or a mode, then it's going to change the quality of the notes. So I'm not going to I might modulate to the minor because we don't have a 7th in the, do we? I don't think I do. Hang on. Let me just check. Let's scooch this over here. Have a look at what we're looking at. Yeah, we don't have any Bs in this melody, so I don't want to do something that's going to rely heavily on the 7th being changed, like Mixolydian or Dorian. We could do Lydian. We've got a few 4s in there that we could sharpen. No, let's just keep it simple. We're going to change, and we're going to actually change directly. We're going to move from C major to C minor so that you can really hear it. It's a bold choice, moving from major to the parallel minor, so that being the minor scale with the same tonic. So they're both C, one's major, one's minor. You know, you'd probably get something more interesting moving to a, you know, a more connected minor scale, one with more shared notes, like you could do D natural minor, A minor is the relative minor, but like there are other options, but I just want to show you the shift that you get in changing from a major to a minor. So we're just going to straight up go to C minor from the major. So we need to change our 3, our 6 and our 7. So our E to an E flat, our A to an A flat, and our B to a B flat. And we're going to do that for both the chords and the melody. So start with the melody. We're going to make our E's flat. That's another E flat, A flat. It's a G, that's fine. F, G, that's fine. So let's take them in here. There's an A. Our G minor chord there's good. We've changed the A in our D at 11, cool. This is our C at 9. We're going to change that E to a flat. We've got a C in the bass, that's fine. This B is already a flat. Those are all fine. We've got a B flat in there. Now here's an A. A, let's make that an A flat, A flat, cool, A, no that's G, that's fine, this E flat, cool, okay, we have swapped it over from major to minor. It's going to be a shock to the system if you're not used to hearing this sort of change. So that's just changing it straight up to C minor. Let's have a listen to the whole thing and see our all our variations, back to back to back to back to back to back to back. There we have it, our 10 variations of the same melody. I hope that's been helpful and given you some ideas for what you can do to introduce some variation into your melody writing. Just a disclaimer, if I'm composing melodies, I don't sit there and go, cool, I'm going to play the same thing but just slightly differently 10 times in a row. Go for it. If you want to, absolutely go mad. But typically, the general thing that we do is have a few sort of similar iterations before we introduce change. And we don't introduce change back to 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 back, unless that's the purpose of the song. If that's the purpose of your song, then fantastic. That's totally fine. But just know that that's what you're doing. Like, you know, go in with that intention to have that sort of instability, because it does create instability in your writing. Stability is brought around by familiarity and repetition. That doesn't mean to say that you can't still feel stable with variations in there as well, but the most stable parts in a song are places where we're hearing things that we're familiar with. So just keep that in mind when you're introducing variation, and make sure that you're doing it deliberately and you're not just thinking, I'm just going to put in a whole bunch of different things and to see what happens. Actually, you know what? That's fine too. Do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. These are just ideas. I hope that's helpful. I always feel like these sort of videos where, you know, I'm composing on the fly and don't really know what we're going to end up with is a little bit chaotic, but that's kind of fun in itself. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing me suss that all out as we go. And let me know if you've got any questions. There's so many more techniques for melody writing and variation out there. So if you would like another video with more ideas, more techniques, and more examples, let me know and I will put out a part 2. Otherwise, there's a bunch of stuff to get you going to start with. Happy composing, and I will see you next time.